out of this best of three. And here we go. There, we are starting out in the as with all standard mode. We're starting out in Link's house, so we get to see what we have in the chest there, and we're having a shield.
Okay, so that's one of only 2 shields available. We have Outline Link and what? I'm not sure which sprite WeightyWords is using off the top of my head. I think it's one of the newer ones, and I haven't seen all those yet.
Yes, that's from Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door there. That is, I believe her name is Vivian?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm still working my way through all those sprites, all the new sprites.
I am enjoying the additional variety here, there. And we've got here our first sword from my uncle there. We've got neck and neck. There's not all that much divergence possible at this point there. But we might see a few things in the escape route.
Things are looking pretty vanilla. Ooh, nice 8-well drop for WeightyWords so far. And already Master Sword. That's interesting. In a sword or a seed with only 3 swords, having both of them immediately, that makes you think a few things. Number one, Aghanim will be available as soon as they get a lamp.
Yeah, Aghanim will be pretty much available almost like right out of the bat there. And yeah, there with an all dungeon seed there, we might be able to just go straight in there after we rescue Zelda.
The interesting thing about the logic with this is, and Kohrek is a big one that knows about this, is if you get more than like Master Sword and say Cape showing up, like you're almost assured that you should just go ahead and just jump into Aghanim. But of course, in this case, we have like in standard mode or open mode. In this case, we have a further block actually, which I forgot about because we're in key sanity, not regular mode. We have to get 2 castle tower keys to also clear this tower today.
Yeah, that is correct. Normally those are just the only items found in that dungeon, but those keys are somewhere out in the wild world of Hyrule at the moment there. So while we could go into it right now there, we've got the Ether Medallion right off the bat.
Yeah, another thing that Master Sword could actually mean is in Key Sanity, there are 2 items just available in Aghanim's Tower since keys are shuffled everywhere. There is 1 chest they would be able to get immediately with that Master Sword, so that could be a possibility for them here.
Kind of a low chance of getting something interesting is there, but if you're here, it might be something worth looking into. It would be a little bit of a time investment, but even so.
They'll have to check it when they get back that way, but yeah, it would be it's sure to be on their minds.
And one other thing about key sanity, it is possible to have keys inside their own dungeon, and thankfully, the text prompt will tell you if it's a key from that dungeon, as we just saw. But right now, we have Kohrek with a slight execution lead on WeightyWords at the moment. They're only a few seconds ahead there as we are beginning the escape portion of the escape sequence. Going to be making our way into the sewers pretty quickly. Now, one thing that also we would want to say about Aghanim's Tower there is that it does have a dark room in it there. So while not strictly 100% required there, the lamp is something you would want to have if you can get it easily enough.
The tower isn't terrible with fire on, but if you have better things to do, you don't necessarily want to be, messing around with it unless you know there's something just really good in Lumberjack Tree.
Pretty much.
And both these runners are pretty good. They're veterans of several tournaments. Kohrek did the entrance tournament back in the day. He's been in a couple of the regular tournaments or standard and open modes. Key Sanity tournament, 2 versus 2 tournament, which had a lot of weird modes in it. WeightyWords has been placed pretty highly in some of the previous tournaments as well, Key Sanity and the spring tournament. So we should be in for a pretty good matchup this time around.
Indeed, there. Kohrek was the higher of the 2 seeds here, coming in placed second in this Pool M. But WeightyWords is no slouch either, so I'm looking forward to seeing this.
Yes, we're in Group Moldorm, as they're calling it.
Indeed. We are coming through the dark portion of the escape. There, we should be going to the getting those 3 chests pretty soon, as we have been given both players have been lucky enough to get bombs to drop there, and we'll see what are in these chests here. All right, and we've got a heart container. Nothing this needs at hard mode. Dungeon map for Turtle Rock, and a dungeon map for Swamp Palace there.
No, they didn't get lamp anywhere. Chat, lamp. They have a guaranteed light cone since this is standard, only for the escape portion. Now, the interesting thing about maps is they have a bit more functionality in Key Sanity, because until you get the map, you don't know whether you're facing a crystal or a pendant in the dungeon that you're in. The music is randomized, so you can't tell by that way. It might not matter to them as much in all dungeons, other than maybe knowing when they can go to Ganon's Tower and, maybe shoot for having a pendant dungeon key in there instead of like clearing an overworld or something else. But yeah, the maps are going to tell them, is this a pendant or is this a crystal?
And right away, we have our first diversions here. Looks like WeightyWords is heading up towards the Lost Woods, while Kohrek is going to is setting up hula hand glitch, perhaps.
Yeah, he's gonna do some strats where he's avoiding Kakariko until he clears some other areas to maybe see if he can't find a bottle or flute or something useful like that he can just combine into Kakariko. So you could do South Shore, something like that. South Shore, go to Eastern Palace maybe, which in Key Sanity doesn't feel as bad to dip right away. You can get all dungeons have like extra items in Key Sanity. So instead of the usual 3 items in Eastern Palace, one of which could potentially be bowlocked, you have 3 immediately available items plus a 4th one if you could do the Dark Room, which Kohrek should definitely be able to do.
And we had a quick peek at the WeightyWords' Lumberjack Cave there. It only had a blue rupee in it there, so nothing really interesting out there. And Kohrek is heading up and towards Palace of Darkness right away there. We're at least going to be checking out Sasha's house.
We did see the fire rod in the Lost Woods Thieves Drop. We have Green Pendant Swamp, which is Sahasra tells you what the Green Pendant is in this mode. Kind of sucks because they already got the Swamp Palace map, so that was not really a helpful hint. But yeah. And there's the cape.
Mm-hmm.
So that again, we were talking about that tendency to get cape and Master Sword pretty early if Aghanim is required. So that's interesting to see that. I mean, again, we have to get those 2 keys in this mode, so it's not as obvious in this one. But oh, and the 3rd sword. So never mind. It's looking.
And Hera Big Key.
Yeah, so we're up to all 3 swords already, and the cape. So I'm not gonna be entirely surprised if we see some Aghanim's Tower keys coming up here soon.
That is entirely possible, although we haven't seen the keys just as of yet there. We have had the Hera Big Key, so that is definitely something there. And we've got Kohrek heading into the swamp to see what's at the bottom of the lake there. WeightyWords checking out the well by the looks of things.
Yeah, it's kind of funny a mode where there's only 3 swords available and they have them all in 9 minutes.
And the lake just has 5 rupees again. The disappointment there, but we are still doing the clear at the present moment. So we will see what is held here. Looks like Kohrek is heading over to check Aghanis Cave.
Yeah, he's doing a combination of Dam and Aghanim, which makes it a little less obnoxious to check Aghanim if you combine it with something. In this particular mode, especially, like you wanna check as many places as possible in the light world, because you're looking for a lot more items and a lot more places to have value.
The bottle vendor only had a 20 rupees there, and Agina only had 5 there, so I haven't found any really key items outside of that fire rod and cape as of just yet. Well, aside from Ether Medallion, but we can't really use that at the present moment.
We did see a Palace of Darkness small key on WeightyWords side. There are 6 of those. You can get varying levels of access to... Oh, and a Desert Palace key right there. You can get various levels of access to Palace of Darkness with those 6 keys. 1 key and no bow and no hammer will buy you 3 items immediately out of the 14 that are available in Palace of Darkness.
You would be risking having to double dip the dungeon though, but if progression lies in there somewhere, it might end up being worth it.
Double dipping dungeons in Key Sanity is a lot more of a thing. It doesn't feel as bad as it does in other modes.
Well, this is true, but you still don't want to do it if you can avoid it there. Oh, got a key for Ganon's Tower. And our first glove upgrade as well.
Yes, there's only 1 small Desert Palace key. And we are attempting to work on a Key Sanity tracker, so bear with us. But for the moment, we just gotta kind of keep track on our own.
All right, looks like Kohrek is heading over towards the Ice Rod Cave, doing the Southern Hyrule clear. Whereas WeightyWords is about doing the same thing, but just a little bit out of sync, having already gone to the other areas first.
So between both runners, they've cleared a lot of the world. What they're looking at right now, after Kohrek gets done here in the Ice Palace Cave or Ice Rod Cave, they have the 4 items in Eastern that they can reach pretty easily, and they have the 1 item in Aghanim's Tower in Logic. I think that's about it right now in Logic. Oh wait, actually, our favorite fish Zora is also in Logic because we have that glove.
This is true. There, we could go and check out King Zora as well. There, I'm expecting all the players to go to Eastern Palace first off. There, just out of sheer probability there. But we'll see how what actually ends up happening.
And oh yeah, I think I saw somebody pick up the shovel. It must have been Kohrek because he's. Oh wait, nope. Just kidding. Maybe I'm crazy. He's actually just going into Kakariko right now.
Yeah, gonna be clearing out Kakariko, heading up north towards the Lost Woods. There, gonna get that fire rod that WeightyWords already has there. Checking out the race game right now. I don't believe WeightyWords has done that.
He peeked over at it, but Kohrek's doing a much more popular strat in Key Sanity, just doing it blind because you're much more likely to find something that you want over there. And I mean, in this like all dungeons mode, again, the maps are not as interesting, but it will still give you potential information. I actually missed which map that was because I looked away at the wrong moment.
I believe it was Thieves' Town, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, so who's gonna be Thieves Town looks like. So who's gonna be the first one into Eastern Palace? Because I think that's gonna be the densest location left to us that has some goodies.
I'm gonna go with WeightyWords as of right now because he's already at Ice Palace. So if he's finished his clear, he should be able to head straight north up to there. Via a little bit of a long about route there, but with no really boots to dash over from Kakariko, it shouldn't be that difficult to get there. And looks like indeed Weighty. Oh, what was that?
Oh, go ahead and finish what you were saying.
Oh, it looks like Weighty's using. Oh, first try flippers glitch. Good job, Weighty.
I was gonna say it's interesting with all the locations. There are few locations left that we still are missing 2 out of the 3 pieces for Dark World access, or 3 pieces depending on how we get to Dark World.
Now, this fake flipper glitch into the hobo's underbridge location there is a sequence break there, but it could pay off if there's something interesting in his satchel there. And he gets the hook shot right from the hobo.
I'd call that pretty interesting, yeah. So either the flippers are available pretty early, or he just picked up a pretty good shortcut there.
We'll have to see that. In logic, there's not all that many places you can go, but that's also a good mobility as well. And not only does it give you more access to places such as the Eastern Death Mountain, but you can just hookshot the trees there. And we've got Weighty heading right into the Palace of Darkness area. Kohrek finishing up his clear of Kakariko. Words I can do them, really.
Yeah, currently we have Eastern Palace, Aghanim's Tower, First Chest, and Zora in the logic that are available.
Well, we have a gloves, but we don't have a lamp though. So we might, might have been suggested, we might have a lamp pretty soon. There, followed by something perhaps on top of a Western Death Mountain.
I wouldn't even be surprised if like the lamps in Eastern Palace and the flippers are up on the mountain and they expect you to go backwards. Like, you know, this game likes to do that.
Rando can be, well, rando. Yes. But we've got WeightyWords, the first to enter the first dungeon there. Vanilla order, just out of what's the word I'm looking for? Chance.
Yeah, both of our runners with the tempered sword now. Technically, this being hard mode, but I mean, with the tempered sword, it's a lot easier than some seeds are. Oh, there's the flippers.
There's the flippers, indeed. There, WeightyWords actually did that fake flippers glitch to bypass the need for that to get the hook shot there, but there's still plenty of other places that you can use that at there. So good find nonetheless.
Well, we've got about 3 places for either the lamp or the flute to show up. It could be either one at this point, really. Well, 4 places, I guess, if you count Chester and Eastern.
Theoretically, you could just navigate through the Death Mountain Dark Cave blind there, but and it looks like Kohrek is actually going to try and do that. If there's nothing actually blocking you from doing this, it's a fairly easy sequence break as far as things go, but it is a sequence break nonetheless.
Yeah, he'll probably we'll probably find the logic up to Death Mountain pretty fast here in one of these locations. So what he's doing is technically, well, actually, if it's the flute, what he's doing is not going to be in the logic anytime soon. But oh, and there's the book, so that opens another interesting couple locations for our lamp or our flute.
The hint tile in the Eastern Palace there gave us a hint of something that we've already collected there. We've got all of the swords. We've got a giant sword collection is what we have.
So they've picked up a small Desert Palace key, and now they've picked up entry into Desert Palace. So
Desert is fully completable by now, if I'm not mistaken.
No big key.
Oh wait, no, we have no lamp to finish it, or big key. You're correct. Sorry.
They do have a fire rod, so if they find the big key, it is technically full clearable.
Yeah, you can't light the torch with the fire rod. That is correct.
But they have the small key. Sorry, I was gonna say they have the small key, so they can get 3 items plus the item on the ledge in desert. So that's 4 items right there. That's worth looking into.
I missed what that hit was on Kohrek's screen there.
It was a joke hint, so it was nothing.
Ah, nerds. Okay. Well, one can always hope there. So let's see where everyone goes to next there. Kohrek looks like he's probably going to be heading towards Eastern Palace there. WeightyWords has pretty much cleared all that he can clear as of right now, and looks like to be heading towards Desert with that key and the Book of Medora in tow. We should be able to find the next breadcrumb along our trail.
Yeah, I don't blame him at all. He could be going up to Death Mountain right now, but he also knows that the lamp or the flute is more than likely somewhere nearby. So I don't blame him for keeping up and looking to see if he can't find that Death Mountain access. Because if it's the flute, that's a lot of mobility. So I wouldn't say it's a bad idea to chase that.
Indeed. All right, and we have Kohrek is stepping into his first dungeon there. Well, WeightyWords is making a trip to Agina, and then we'll be heading over to Desert Palace shortly afterwards.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Kohrek, having gone to desert area already, he's gonna be faced with a long, that long trek back over there. Didn't quite work out sequence-wise, but he's not doing too bad here. He's full clearing the light world, full clearing everything. He'll probably be back to desert pretty soon since he just got that book, or since he's about to get that book, I should say.
Indeed, there. Meanwhile, there we've got Weighty making use of the book to get inside of the desert palace right now, and we'll see what lies in the chests that we can get. We should be able to get most of the chests because I don't believe there's any more chests after the big key door.
There are four things they can get from Desert Palace right now. One of them is that small key that's out on the ledge. One of them is this spawnable chest up here that he's heading towards, and then two from the small key. They can also check what's on the torch, so they could get some information that way.
First chest is just a blue rupee. Unfortunately, no luck there, but we still got more chests that we can check.
He also gets another hint tile here, so there's another reason to pop over here. And that's actually a pretty helpful hint.
Yep, Mimic Cave is something that you don't really want to have to go to if you don't have to. A little bit redundant there, I know there. But even so, yeah, taking that detour through Turtle Rock is not the biggest time loss in the world, but it's still something that you want to get off the back of your mind.
Yeah, kind of interesting that Weighty did not go right first with that small key. I wonder if he forgot that he had it.
That is small key to Skull Woods. Interesting.
Yeah, so a small key to Skull Woods is not technically relevant as far as like being able to defeat Skull Woods. Logically, it can be, somewhat relevant if you want to know. Like the game is saying, hey, you have the ability to defeat Mothula right now, because you have to get both small keys according to the logic, so that you don't key lock yourself. Most of the logic in any mode of randomizer is based on the dumbest thing you can do with your keys. So you don't want to, they don't want you to lock yourself out and have an impossible seed.
Pretty much there. We got a Turtle Rock key there. Very interesting. And we'll see what the last thing in Desert Palace is, or was it just a giant red herring? We've got the Moon Pearl there. So we've got the Moon Pearl, and we've got the gloves there, but we don't have a hammer yet. So I don't believe we have Dark World access quite yet.
We could also see mitts coming up too, which won't be full Dark World access. Well, actually, with the flippers, it would in fact be full Dark World access, so don't mind me.
Well, you could always go, if you had Titan's mitts there, you could also get into the portal by Kakariko, no? Or it's just the long way around?
No, Titan's mitts would allow you to get to that one Kakariko portal, but the flippers would allow you to get over to the pod side, which you would normally need the hammer for.
This is true there. And we've got Kohrek grinding up rupees for what I'm assuming to be a trip to Zora, who we have not seen yet.
So it's interesting. It seems as if potentially the flute and or lamp is either in the first chest of Aghanim's tower or on Zora. Kohrek, I think, is picking up what the seed is putting down, and he's trying to check Zora right now to see which one he might get.
And in that, he's picking up and putting down a lot of pots to get all those rupees.
Yeah, he also can check the, we didn't check the waterfall area, Zora's Ledge, so he just wants to clear all that in like one go.
WeightyWords, having that hook shot there, it actually has a little bit of a head start on Kohrek there, and they'll be able to go over to the right side of... or will he? Yeah, he should be able to go over to the eastern Death Mountain and check what few things he can over there. Just a good amount of chests. You should be able to get into Paradox Cave from here, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, grinding for Zora is in fact a good idea in this situation, because you don't want to double dip just to go back and pay Zora for his item. So, because that's not a walk anyone wants to make twice. So yeah, it's 100% a good idea to go ahead and grind for Zora here, so he can get all the items in the Zora area at once.
So if there is something on Eastern Death Mountain there, the logic would have wanted you to go to Eastern Palace to get the flippers, go use the flippers to get the hook shot from the hobo, and then the hook shot to get over here to Eastern Death Mountain, and then get whatever it is from the Paradox Cave. Or possibly Spiral Cave? No, that's Dark World, isn't it?
No, the Spiral Cave's in the Light World, so
Oh, yes it is.
they
Silly
have
me.
8 items they can get over here right now.
Alright, so in the first mini portion of Paradox Cave there, we have some money and a key to Turtle Rock. That's the second Turtle Rock key. Out of, is it 4 or 5? It's been a little bit.
Yeah, and also good point to chat. They can also see what's on the floating island and see if that's a relevant item.
Alright, we got our blue mirror, the only mirror, and the hammer. We have Dark World access and the mirror. Paradox Cave is paradoxical in finding to have everything that we need. Which meaning this is not a
Okay.
paradox at all. So we have the hammer,
Yeah,
and we've got the mirrors. We've got full Dark World access now at this point there, aside from the Titan's mitts.
Another thing that we picked up in that particular cave was the small swamp key, which means that we have save 1 item, we have full swamp access too.
That is correct. There is only one small swamp key to be found. There are a lot of other swamp keys, but they're found inside the dungeon itself through 4 spawns.
Swamp is a pendant, but this is all dungeons, so that matters not at all. Also, they have the hammer and the mirror now, so they have 2 ways up to Hera. They can get the Ether Tablet, and they can get the first 2 items in Hera as well. Oh wait, no, they have the big key for Hera, so they can actually full clear Hera right now, outside of the basement. Looks like WeightyWords is not gonna do that. No. Oh no, he's going back to Mountain Cave. So I think he's going up there.
Yeah, with that Dark World access there, we do have the big key to Hera. So yes, we can full clear Hera, if I'm not mistaken. Well, except from the basement, though.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Kohrek looks like he's chasing after that lamp and/or flute. And/or mitts. That's pretty nice to find, also.
We have pretty much all the Dark World access we could possibly want at this point.
That actually means that there's a lot more places that the lamp and/or flute could be as well.
Interesting. The roadblocks that we thought would be here is not actually here. We also have WeightyWords heading over to the Ether tablet right now. We do have Master Sword Plus, and we're only getting a heart piece from it, but it's an easy thing to overlook there as one of the other uses for the Book of Medora. But we've got Kohrek there now having the... Oh! Zora is a scam, boys and girls, there.
Okay, so interesting. The seed wants you to get the mitts, go to Dark World, find the lamp or flute, and then go up the mountain to get your mirror and your hammer. But Kohrek is just going to go ahead and go up there now and get his mirror, his hammer, and he has the mitts, so he's gonna have like much access to the Dark World right now. And matter of fact, he's up on the mountain with the hookshot and the mitts and the moon pearl. So that is 6 more free items. 7 if the floating island was relevant. I actually missed it, so I don't know for sure.
Alright, we should be coming up over to the top of Hera. Pretty sure we do have the big key, so we should be able to check this this big chest here.
WeightyWords using a very interesting bomb setup, I believe pioneered by Yagamoth. That double bomb setup is it's pretty nifty. Kohrek picking up his Swamp Express package right now.
Sir Trolldorm himself as the first boss that we can take down.
Tempered Sword makes him extremely free, though.
Only 2 hits required with tempered or better damage there. And we got the Cane of Samaria off of them. Now that's very interesting indeed.
Also got ourselves a crystal of some form or fashion. We don't know if it's a 5 or 6 or a regular. Oh, look, we have Thieves Town as our blue pendant, and Turtle Rock is our crystal 5. So we know what 2 out of the 3 pendants are.
Indeed, that is interesting there. I'm wondering if that Cane of Samaria is pointing to anything. We don't have the Ice Rod, so we can't really do anything in Turtle Rock yet, and we don't even know what I don't think we've checked the medallion yet, as if I'm not mistaken.
Well, even without the ice rod, if you have access to Turtle Rock, you can get like 11 items without the ice rod. Well, actually, depending on keys too. They have 2 keys already, so they could get with 2 keys they could get to Laser Bridge because they could pick up a Poke key and not go onto the vanilla big key chest. So they could get the bulk of the items in Turtle Rock. If say Turtle Rock was Ether.
Alright, well, we've got Kohrek over there, and we just got a glimpse at what that medallion was, and I didn't get a good enough look at it to see.
I want to say it was Bombos.
I think you're right. I think I just caught that there. And we've got Kohrek, the first person into Hookshot Cave, if I'm not mistaken. Or did Weighty check that when I wasn't looking?
Weighty does not have the mitts, so yes, he has not been in here yet.
Oh, that's right. We've got another hierarchy. So, there's the Bombos medallion right there. Very interesting indeed. There, so we can get into Turtle Rock at the moment there, and once Kohrek finishes Tower of Hera, he can take a jaunt right over there, and see what's inside its front door, so to speak.
Yeah, so that was a couple of different interesting things there. He got the Tower of Hera small key, which means he can single dip Tower of Hera and get the basement and never come back, which is great for him as far as where he's currently at. He also, if he gets the cane, he could choose to go pretty far to Turtle Rock right now and see what he might be able to get.
Looks like Stumpy just has a heart piece this time around there.
WeightyWords also showed off for us the bomb shop hint, which tells you which of the two crystals are your 5/6 crystals. We found out Desert was our other 5/6 crystal, as well as Turtle Rock. So those 2 crystals would get you access to the Pyramid Fairy, which we still require a few keys for that to be logically possible or available. But those are the 2 crystals that would get you.
Okay, up on Forest Ledge there, we've got one of our first Castle Tower keys there. So one of the 2, so we now have access to 2 chests up in the Castle Tower. We had that hint tile being a little bit late there, telling us that the Moon Pearl was already in Palace of Darkness. Unfortunately, we already know that. We already have it. But thanks for it anyway.
Yeah, Turtle Rock right now is not the worst of plays because you can get something like 10 items out of it, I think, right now, if you can get all the way to Laser Bridge. So it may seem bad because you can't full clear it, but how often do you get to be able to full clear Turtle Rock the first go around anyway, even in any mode, really?
This is true there, but we are on 5 hearts with only blue mail. So it would be a challenge, to say the least.
Yeah, without having to kill Trinex, it's not right now. Like since he's not available, it's not too bad. I know for Kohrek at least, he's done a lot of entrance, and you end up going through Turtle Rock with pretty low resources, so he's pretty used to that.
right, looks like we got WeightyWords back in Kakariko there. Was there something that he had missed, perhaps? He has a bottle now, so he can go check Sick Kid, who has a heart piece, which is not that bad.
I'm not sure where the bottle was. I think it might have been Hype Cave.
I didn't happen to see Hype Cave, so we'll have to check on that later. But
So there
meanwhile,
is actually a lot of options available to both of them right now. So it'll be interesting to see which either one of them chooses.
meanwhile, Kohrek is making his way up the Tower of Hera as well. There should be finishing off his first boss pretty soon there. WeightyWords is going into the Kakariko portal there, into the Dark World. With a fire rod, he can take down the Skullwoods dungeon there. I believe we've found at least one key so far.
Yeah, it's not technically in the logic yet, but it's a free 6 items and a crystal and/or pendant. I don't think we know yet. Mothula with this tempered sword is not awful, so it's not a bad idea to go for it right now. WeightyWords routing is going to suffer a little bit for not having those mitts, unfortunately. But he still has a lot of options available to him with what he's got available.
Pretty much there, but we'll see what we find exactly inside of Skullwoods itself. There. Meanwhile, Kohrek takes down the Moldorm there, so he is on the board now in terms of boss kills.
Yeah, and chat making a good observation that WeightyWords probably knows something in the Zinzori area, but he might just think it's the lamp to get to Death Mountain. So he might be purposely like seeing what else he can explore right now. But unfortunately for him, it's the mitts. Key sanity is all the dungeon keys, maps, and compasses are shuffled out into the world with the rest of the items, which means that every dungeon chest has potential value. You can find your keys pretty much anywhere because the only thing that a lot of the keys lock is like 1 item or 2 items.
All right, so WeightyWords is heading down into the Mothula room now. They're taking on the big bug himself there. See how well he does. He's low on magic, so won't be able to get that many fire rod shots in. But with the tempered sword, this shouldn't deal appreciable damage nonetheless. And well, he squashed like a bug that he is there. And from them, we get a big 20.
And another crystal. Pretty much a perfect Mothula fight. Well done for WeightyWords. I'm kind of interested to see what Kohrek does next because he could definitely just go really far into Turtle Rock right now, and I'm interested to see if he goes for it. And it looks like he might be.
Oh, if he's not dead rock locked first. With very limited safeties available there, he has to be careful now that he's only on halfway heart right now. But I believe he's got those 2 hearts from the pots there, and I believe there's a fairy fountain relatively nearby as well. Oh, but we've got WeightyWords checking out the pedestal. But it only has a blue potion. Unfortunate. Not that there's much incentive to go for the pedestal in all dungeons anyway, but you never know, right?
Yeah, and potions only fill you up halfway, so they're not really that attractive overall.
But we've got Kohrek heading over to Turtle Rock. Indeed, it looks like we are going to have a first dip into the what normally is the last dungeon in vanilla.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is there's just so much available to them right now. So it's just really like, where do you go? Kohrek's right here, so why not go in here and get these like 10 items? They have 9 items available to them in Swamp Palace. They can get a few items in Pod. They've got all of the Village of Outcasts. With those mitts, Kohrek could also get the Smith Chain. There's just the world is their oyster right now. So where do you really go? Weighty, I
Pretty
think might
much.
end up. Yeah, I think Weighty might end up in Swamp sooner rather than later, though, because he could just loop the Dark World all the way down.
Yeah, there. I mean, we still haven't seen those chests in Castle Tower either, so we will have to take down Aga 1 at some point. So we'll have to see where that leads us.
And theoretically, you could also pretty much clear Ice Palace. You wouldn't be, oh no, the boots are in Turtle Rock. That's not great for weighty words, but pretty awesome for Kohrek right now.
That is going to be a big time save in terms of mobility, if nothing else. There, all those dashes definitely add up over time.
The 1 out of 12 on Kohrek's screen is if you get the compass for a dungeon, it'll tell you how many items you've collected in that dungeon. So he has currently collected 1 out of 12 items in Turtle Rock, and what a one item it was.
Indeed, there. Meanwhile, we have WeightyWords heading into what looks to be Thieves Town. Or he's exploring Dark Hat Creek and then most likely heading to Thieves Town after that.
Oh no, that's a third Turtle Rock key. So now they can legitimately get to Laser Bridge without messing with the logic. That's interesting.
That is definitely helpful for sure there. Believe it's with only 3 keys, you have to make the choice of either big key chest or what was the other one? It's we get a 50-50 shot at one of them if I'm not mistaken, right?
Um, well, actually, I've been forgetting one important thing. They don't have the big key, so they can't actually get all the way. So key sanity can't. It's hard to remember sometimes. But basically, three with Turtle Rock with the big key, 3 keys you can clear the dungeon. 2 keys will get you Laser Bridge if you avoid the big key chest, and so which most people do because it's 4 or 5 items versus 1. So unfortunately, he's not going to be able to get to Laser Bridge because I'm a dork and I forgot that he doesn't have the big key, but he can get all the way to Mimic Cave, which I think he's already seen the hint that says it's cash. So really, he could just pick up this big key chest and then leave if he wants.
Pretty much. Regardless, there, Boots is a very important find, so this single dip has been well worth it regardless.
Looks like he's actually heading out, so either he didn't get the hint from Mimic Cave, or he did pick up the big key, and I'm definitely just like missed it totally. So we know that Mimic Cave only has some money, so it's not worth checking in this scenario.
Indeed, and we've got WeightyWords heading up to. We checked on what's on Bumper Cave yet? It looks like we just did.
Yeah, it's a heart container, it looks like, which not necessarily a bad thing in this mode, which has a lot less health, but Weighty Word says, nope, we don't need it.
Kohrek takes a couple jumps into the pit to refill his health, but can't get into the big key chest just yet.
I think Kohrek just realized he doesn't have the big key and is now gonna just check the vanilla big key chest.
Looks like it there. Meanwhile, Words is heading into the graveyard ledge. Sort of a relatively random location to check at this point there, but you never know. Anything could be anywhere.
Okay, so chat says that Weighty Words actually found the Turtle Rock big key in Thieves Town, which I definitely did miss. So I think that's interesting. That makes this a real crapshoot on which one of them has the better advantage for Turtle Rock right now.
Pretty much, Kohrek has gone in there first and getting that boots early there, but WeightyWords hasn't been able to clear it more and get to Laser Bridge. So, who has the advantage there? We don't really know. Meanwhile, WeightyWords does have 2 bosses down to Kohrek's 1, but we still have a lot of important items still out there missing on milk cartons.
A lot of locations left to check too. Interestingly enough, Kohrek found the mushroom in the that one chest that you really don't want to open if you can avoid it. So he's going to be able to see pretty quickly here if opening that door was going to be worth it.
Well, he had a key burning in his pocket there. It's not a bad choice to make, but definitely so there. It looks like we've got WeightyWords heading over to Catfish there. We'll see what the big fish has to offer.
So Kohrek's going to check the block rocks first, it looks like. Oh, WeightyWords actually did a pretty good routing choice here by doing Catfish and then mirroring to get these items. So he's going to get his mitts right here. So that's going to give him a lot more options as well. The question is, which one does he choose first?
He does have the money to go to Zora there, but unfortunately it's all just a big life lesson up there. But he'll be finding that out soon enough.
Thanks to Stumbler for the gift subscription to Signal C.
Indeed, thank you very much for supporting the channel.
So once again, we're left with many options and where do you go? Kohrek's going to find that Turtle Rock Big Key and maybe feel not so great about his dip into Turtle Rock. Probably sooner rather than later. He's going to do what WeightyWords did and clear Skull Woods because he has the Fire Rod, so why not? Once again, they still have a lot of swamp available to them. A couple items in pod. Swamp is really their densest, most interesting play right now because it's 9 items, but technically 10 if you get the one from Sahasrara.
Pretty much, yeah. But yeah, you can route Thieves Town and also Skullwoods together back to back, just like WeightyWords did, I believe. Meanwhile, Weighty's heading back over to Eastern Death Mountain. Looks like he is going to be taking a trip to the Rock of Turtles as well.
He's definitely checking out Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny at least. If he goes into Turtle Rock, then the advantage of Kohrek with the boots just flipped because then WeightyWords will be able to get to Laser Bridge. Depending on if there's something good on the mushroom and WeightyWords skips it, that's gonna tell us, what we're looking at in terms of who came out on top of that.
Pretty much, yeah, it's there.
Of course, we gotta wait for Kohrek to get over to the mushroom and show us, but yeah.
Without the flute, just as of yet, there we don't really know what to do there. We did that sequence break through the dark room in Death Mountain there, so we still need the lamp in some place we haven't visited yet there. Well, we don't need it per se there, but the game is expecting us to have it at this point.
There's very few places left that the lamp could be at this point. I think the lamp really could only be in the front of Pod or in the Smith chain, I want to say.
It's either that or we haven't even, or maybe at the beginning of Castle Tower.
Yeah, I was actually just about to say there's also that one chest. Because we know that it's not going to be in Swamp because they got all the pieces for Swamp in the Death Mountain area. So that's not going to be it. They had some access to Pod by the flippers and a small Pod key before they got up to the mountain. So there's very few spots left for the lamp or the flute, depending on which access they were supposed to get first.
Pretty much, yes, there. And we've got Kohrek taking down Mothula easy as pie there. That brings him as a tie for in terms of just sheer boss kills there. But WeightyWords is heading into the Turtle Rock area right now. So We'll see how that turns out and see if the second half of it that we were not able to visit with Kohrek has anything valuable that the routing choices will make a difference for.
Yeah, right now I'm really intrigued to see what the mushroom has to give us some info on who's making the more fortuitous choice here as far as Turtle Rock goes. But WeightyWords is about to get these boots, so he'll be pretty happy about that. And then he's gonna probably do what Kohrek did, but since he has the big key, I pretty much expect him to go to Laser Bridge before he does it. Before he does that one chest.
Pretty much there. Looks like Kohrek has found out there's just a blue potion on the pedestal this time around there. Not a bad place to check if you're out here. You're getting all the pendants anyway, so you want to know if you have to make that a second detour back up to here for something important.
Yeah, of course. The interesting thing about Key Sanity is, they do have to get Thieves Town eventually. It's dependent that key could be in Ganon's Tower though. It doesn't have to be available early. The same actually goes for the last Castle Tower key. That could be basically anywhere, but well, just anywhere really, because all you need it for is to defeat Aghanim. So basically, in this mode, there's about 20 ice rods.
Pretty much there. Let's see where Kohrek decides to go to next there. Was thinking about going up to Death Mountain there, but changes his mind. He is heading over to what appears to be Palace of Darkness. Or no,
He's
I'm getting my
gonna
mixed up. Never mind.
Well, he's gonna hit up Graveyard Ledge. He might go to Catfish because he has the mushroom. Hit the mushroom up on the way, which would be pretty handy routing. Then he might choose to go down to Pyramid and Palace of Darkness from there.
That is true. That is true there. Let's see what he was deciding to find in here. I don't believe there's much in here, just like a key to, where was it again? To Dark Palace there.
Yeah,
Well,
which I think
we did a
is
Dark Palace.
2. I want to say that's a second key, but that's locked behind the Death Mountain access. So if the lamp or the flute is in pod, it's going to be in the first 3 chests.
Pretty much.
Okay, so we're coming up on the moment of truth here for was it a good idea to open that door?
Yep, here we go. We are getting the key for from the Pokey here. Well, that bunny sprite is adorable. It's one of those shoot, the little critters from the tree. Oh, we've
Okay,
got the Quake Medallion. Interesting. We don't know
yeah,
what Misery Mire is there, so that could interesting indeed.
yeah.
Highest
If that
opinion.
turns out to be Myers access, that's gonna be pretty nice for Kohrek. But if it's not, that's gonna just really suck all around.
We won't know until we find the flute either way, unfortunately.
Ooh, I don't think Weighty meant to take that death right there.
Ouchies.
Oh no,
Yeah,
he's
oh, he's kicked straight back all the way to the star. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's gonna cost him a little bit of time. It's not terrible, but it's not something you want to have happen. But again, he's chasing 6 items in the back of Turtle Rock with the big key, so he's just going straight back in.
Yeah, hard mode strikes again there with that limited health pool there. And Kohrek has decided to go to Swamp there. As you mentioned, there is a pretty item dense area there, so we will see whether that treasure trove of treasure chests will hold anything valuable for us after we check
Okay.
out, I believe this is Hype Cave.
Yeah, he's gonna do Height Cave. I think he wouldn't have any reason to not go into Swamp right now. He knows that the flute or the lamp is in, one of a few locations, so he might not necessarily care about checking those locations right now because he doesn't really need the flute or the lamp at the moment. unless it's blocking a lot of progression. But well, I mean the flute that is. But the
Oh,
lamp is
yes.
lamp is not overall super important.
No, we won't want that until we get to Misery Mire at the very least there. The Dark Room is possible without a lamp there, but it is a pain in the rear, let me tell you.
So yeah, we're gonna get a Bombos check, and then we're going to get Swamp Palace, I believe.
You look to be correct there. And we've got Weighty is still in the backside of Turtle Rock.
Okay, so that's the key that tells him it's okay to kill Mothra, but not really important overall. So it's down to Laser Bridge.
Pretty much.
Weighty
That's
words.
right. Yeah, you have to do this room in the dark there, but shouldn't be too hard if you know your maze well enough.
This room is pretty free, even in the dark. Looks like Kohrek's actually going to run away from Swamp right now.
Interesting choice, but we are now at Laser Bridge.
It's going to take the safety door, which is not a terrible idea with only 2 hearts.
Yeah, pretty much that. Well, 1.5 hearts now. All right, behind chest number 1, we have the 20 rupees. Behind chest number 2, we have the 10 arrows. Good dodging of the laser so far in the laser bridge. We got another 5 rupees there. It's paying out, but not in the things that we want to pay. Oh, get sniped!
So far, this laser bridge has been disgusting.
It's like, here, have all the insignificant trash that you want. Ooh, but we've got the big key to Eastern Palace. How interesting.
Okay, so that's gonna be helpful. Of course, they don't have Bow yet, but yeah, that's gonna save a little bit of backtracking on Weighty's side. Oh, speaking of big keys, oh, there's the Desert Palace big key. I missed it when Weighty got that apparently. So that's desert fully clearable as well.
Pretty much. He's sort of in the general vicinity of it, but I don't know if he's wanting to go there next.
Well, I think he's just gonna do Smith Chain right now. I don't think he's gone into Thieves Town yet, unless I missed something. I think since he went to the Witch's Hut, he went away from the Village of Outcast area, so he's still got a few things over here to check.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, he has not done Thieves Town yet, as far as I can remember there.
So it's gonna be a minute before we figure out if the mushroom is gonna be a factor here. That's gonna just have to be on our minds for a while. Depending on where the flute is, we still again don't know if our logical access to Death Mountain was the lamp or the flute, and we won't know until somebody works their way into the last few things that were in logic before Death Mountain. Yes, there is a bracket for this tournament. Right now, we're in group stage, which is groups of 6 playing 3 matches per opponent, so 15 matches. Bracket will be the top 2 runners of every group. So I think it's 32? I want to say it's 60. I think it's 32.
I believe we've got 16 groups total there, so that would be 32, a bracket of 32.
Yeah, I wasn't doing the math. I was just sort of like, throwing it out there from memory.
Yep, sounds about right there. And this is just single round robin, if I'm not mistaken, or is it double round robin?
Single. This is it's three games per opponent, so it's 15 games in the next 6 weeks.
Yeah, having 30 games per group would be a bit long, to say the least. So yeah, single round robin it is.
Yeah, and for those who are not aware, highest seeded picks the first settings. So Kohrek was the highest seed in this group between him and WeightyWords. So he picked this the settings for this one. WeightyWords picks the next settings in their next match, and the third match is randomly chosen, and then each player gets to veto one portion of that if they don't like it.
Yeah, they each have their own little pick ban phase, so to speak.
And there's a lot of different choices in this tournament. They're not just playing standard and all that, regular stuff. They're showcasing a few different modes. We have retro, which you don't see too much of. Inverted, which is basically brand new and still kind of novel. There's standard. There's going to be open, some Randomizer, key sanity, as you can see, and then they can choose to do all dungeons or just defeat Ganon and Golem. A lot of people are choosing all dungeons so far.
All dungeons is pretty fun in my opinion there because it takes a little bit of the routing choices away there, but you do get to see more of the game, so that's always a plus there. Meanwhile, Kohrek has just discovered the Big Turtle Rock Big Key for himself, though, so he may be kicking himself at having dipped out of there so early there, but maybe that early boots would have saved him some extra time. We have not. That's still yet to be determined there. Meanwhile, WeightyWords has the purple chest there. I don't remember if Kohrek has opened that yet. No, he still has it in tow. So we will see what's inside the thieves' chest. And we have 5 rupees.
Yeah,
Well.
The interesting about all dungeons is all dungeons basically rewards people who are very good at efficiently clearing the world. So if you're pretty used to just like doing 100% of seeds just to find your go mode, all dungeons will be pretty rewarding for you, because if you're very efficient at that clearing, then all you have to do is clear the world 100% faster than your opponent.
So right now, the things that we're looking for the most there is we need to find that ice rod, we need to find that bow for sure, and we need to we need to find that food. Those are our 3 major items that we are currently missing.
Yeah, with the keys, there's a lot of different stuff they still need for go mode. Thieves Town Big Key, technically the Ice Palace Big Key, but nobody cares about that in practice.
Pretty much.
Misery Mire Big Key Flute. See here, Ice Rod. The bow, the second Aghanim's Tower key. They need to find that somewhere. That's most of what they still need. They still need the pod big key, I believe, as well.
Speaking of pod, there, I believe we just got a hint from the Ganon's Tower Big Key is somewhere in Palace of Darkness.
Oh yeah, and then there's that thing.
The big key-shaped go button to be able to get to the big pig.
So WeightyWords is giving us our first swamp dip, which we know does not have the lamp and/or flute, whichever access it was to the Dark Death Mountain, but it does have 10 items that he can get right now. Ganon's Tower is in fact accessed the same way in Key Sanity, only difference being, some key access. You can end up in Ganon's Tower without the big key and be forced to go find it, post Ganon's Tower, which doesn't seem like it'll necessarily be the case in this seed, but yeah, mostly the requirements are the same.
While it is highly amusing there, thankfully you don't have to double dip Ganon's Tower all that often.
Key Sanity is definitely a mode that forces you to do it more than other modes, but I don't think it's necessarily going to be a factor in this one. They might have to dip Ganon's Tower before they find like a pendant key, or that Aghanim's Tower key, but they won't. They shouldn't have to.
Yep.
Well, unless like Pod is a pendant or something, and the Pod big keys in Ganon's Tower, they shouldn't have to. And like the GT big keys on Helmasaur or something ridiculous like that, they shouldn't have to double dip.
All right there, and we have Kohrek taking on the boss of Desert Palace, who's I am blanking on his name for no good reason. I should know this.
The Land Molas.
Yeah, I always forget that name. I don't know why. Oh, but the Land Balls have the ice rod there, so now we are able to take down Trinex there. Now that we have the Ganon's Tower, I've got Ganon's Tower big key on the mind. The Turtle Rock big key. We have Do we have enough keys to get to Trinex at the moment?
Unfortunately for Kohrek, he now has to find the 4th Turtle Rock small key before he can kill Trinex. So that's nice that he found that, but he's still not able to complete Turtle Rock in its entirety right now.
Well, if he's lucky, the mushroom that he found on the big key chest, I believe it was the big key chest, right? May be the key to Meyer, and he may have a required 4-key Turtle Rock after all.
Yeah,
If he...
to be determined. Waiting on that flute. Looks like Kohrek's gonna go ahead and jump into Swamp now, though. He's feeling the pull of those 10 items as well. Green rupee on left side, how appropriate.
Ouchies.
Oh man, that's so bad. Double green rupee on left side. That is
Adding
just
insult to
that is left
injury.
side. That is left side swamp in a nutshell. That is everybody's feelings on left side swamp right there.
Oh, expecting a rupee? Too bad. Green rupee time.
And I bet that I don't see Kohrek not going for that, considering how much he still has to find either. I mean, sometimes he skips left side, but I mean, we're looking at efficient clearing, so he might just go ahead and get it out of the way and get his 2 green rupees.
I believe he picked up. Is that his 3rd or is his 4th Turtle Rock Turtle Rock small key? Because he just picked one up.
That is actually the 4th one, I think. So I think he's good to go on Turtle Rock now.
Well, that's a big relief for him.
Yeah, because there was one inside the dungeon and they had 2 going in. So actually, no, he's good now. No, that's good.
Oh, thank goodness for him. There, he doesn't have to go scouring the world for the 4th Turtle Rock big key.
Okay, so we just got some information. The lamp is in Swamp Palace, which means the flute was the Dark World access or the Death Mountain access. So we have like 3 or 4 chests where the flute could be. And if I were these runners, I'd be very interested in going to check those chests.
Was that a hit tile?
No,
just
it's
by
just
process of elimination.
Yeah, it's process of elimination, logically speaking. So the flute is either in the first 3 chests of Pod or the first chest of Aghanim's Tower, I believe. I don't recall anything else that would have been available.
We've only found 1 castle tower small key so far, so we can't really complete either of those locations with the current items at hand. So it's really a 50-50 on which one you want to take.
Well, the interesting thing is that 1 castle tower key was mirror locked, so we also know that the flute is only in the first chest if it's anywhere.
Okay, so it's a 25% chance of being inside of Castle Tower and a 75% chance of it being in Pod. So we're most likely, if people are counting their chests properly there, that it's heading over to Pod pretty soon.
Yeah, I think in this situation you would go for Pod for volume anyway, because why you want to try to avoid double dipping Aghanim Tower if you can. I mean, it's not as terrible as double dipping some places, but I mean, why do it if you don't have to? The settings for this race are hard, all dungeons, key sanity, standard, Uncle Assured, which is a big mouthful that basically means they started with the escape sequence. It's hard mode, so there's less resources. It's key sanity, so keys, dungeon maps are everywhere. And Uncle Assured means a sword was guaranteed, which didn't really matter because all 3 swords were found within 9 minutes of the seed's beginning.
It is just that kind of Seeds Day.
As far as who's leading, it's really hard to tell at this point because there's some advantages to there's some differences to the way they routed this. Kohrek might have a slight advantage for getting that mushroom when he did if he finds out that Misery Mire was Quake. Kohrek's getting his 2 single rupees, so clearly that just puts him gives him a leg up right now, right?
You never know when you're just going to be 2 rupees short of that one thing that you need to buy that we've already bought. But
Of course, even if he has the way into Meyer, we don't have the Meyer big key yet that I know of. So I will be interested to see like if they pick up on the fact that the flute is only in a couple of different places, and if they go straight to trying to find that flute. I know I'd be pretty tempted to.
pretty much there. We theoretically could go into Ice Palace right now if we wanted to there, but there's not really any advantage to doing so right now if our main goal is to find the flute there, because we know it can't be there, but it is accessible.
Yeah. To be fair, there's very little that they can access outside of where the flute is that is really that attractive. They could actually clear Ice Palace, but they wouldn't be able to get the big chest, which that can suck a little bit because if that big chest has something in it, double dipping Ice Palace for it does not feel good. Okay, so Kohrek should now get his knowledge that the flute is somewhere very available right now.
Meanwhile, WeightyWords gets the Ice Rod from Landmolus there. So we will see where he decides to head next here. Will he have picked up on the fact that the places where the flute can be is limited? We will soon see there because Kohrek is moments away from getting to Argus himself, so should be, in terms of sheer boss skill, should be even very shortly indeed.
Yeah, this is still very much anybody's game, really. I mean, I feel like with the available options, that pod is definitely, not a bad one. But then again, Weighty just got the ability to full clear Turtle Rock, so I think he's just gonna go do it.
You're gonna have to do that eventually there, and if he wants to try and save Palace of Darkness from being double dipped, then you can go for that, sure. So why not?
Yes, chat, that is correct. There was a small pod key available in the flippers, so the first 3 chests of pod should have the ability to hold the flute, as well as the first chest in Aghanom's Tower.
And if there's a pod key in that first chest in pod there, that could be interesting as well. That would open up a little bit more of the dungeon.
Yeah, logically speaking, if you get anything but the first 3 chests and you don't have bow, you're required to have 3 small keys, which they would if there was a vanilla one, but they weren't. They were supposed to like dip pod with just the one, based on the logic, I believe. And it looks like Kohrek is feeling that flute, so he's gonna go look for that right now, I think.
Oh, we can actually have our first pyramid check while we're over here as well.
Oh, did Weighty not check the pyramid earlier?
If he did, I didn't see it there. Oh, but in the Legends of the Hidden Pyramid there, we only have a heart container, which is definitely worth it.
It's extremely not possible for Sahasrahla to have the flute because everything that you could clear Swamp Palace with was located behind the flute, logically speaking.
Oh, that's an interesting routing choice. We are going to check out the first 2 chests in Castle Tower after doing that pyramid check.
Yeah, this is actually pretty nice way to route this in, and pod is right next door anyway, so it's a pretty free way to check both of the potential spots that he needs to for the flute. So not a bad choice to come here first. I mean, he's gonna have to double dip it more than likely, but
yeah, knocking out one of those out of the way chests in terms of excuse me, in terms of pyramid, there is not a bad trade-off.
okay, so should be flute and pod then. It looks like.
It looks like it. There's nowhere else it can really be at this moment.
He's gonna have to double dip this without that second key, but I mean, it's Aga Tower. It's not that big of a deal, really. So
Pretty much, yes.
now he's he saved and quit instead of going. I guess he's just gonna go to Turtle Rock too. I guess maybe.
Indeed.
So either they don't realize that the flute is in pod, or they don't care. I'm not sure which one it is at this point.
I mean,
Maybe
at
they're
this
trying to
point
see if they can find the
there-
Meyer Big Key or something before they go there. It's possible.
That's also possible yet there. The flute will definitely help you get around there, but we've gotten a lot of stuff at the present moment. So, it's the flute is losing value as time goes on.
I mean, you can full clear Turtle Rock as a dungeon, so it's not the worst idea to come here. Maybe you find the pod, Big Key, or something else to help you out. So it's sort of like risking a double dip now to save a double dip later, sort of situation. Might not really work out, and you might still have to double dip both. But what can you do? It's key sanity.
Yeah, this is true there. But we've got WeightyWords on the Samaria path to Trinex himself there. So we're going to have our fifth boss out of all. How much is it? 10? No.
Of course, to be fair, in Kohrek's case, he didn't have laser bridge access, so he actually has 7 items he can get here.
11. Okay.
So it makes a pretty good amount of sense for him, since he doesn't just have the boss to get, to come up here and see if he can't get lucky with some key situations before he chases that flute.
Pretty much there. Well, he hasn't checked out Laser Bridge and found there was something important on Laser Bridge. What was it?
Eastern Palace Big Key, and let me correct
That's
myself
right.
because there's 2 items in the Pyramid Fairy, so that's actually an additional. That's a total of 9 items that Kohrek will have access to from after they're doing this dungeon.
Interesting indeed.
Just a bottle off of Trinex, so I think maybe our next progression could be in the Mire area, because that seems to be the few chests that the flute are in could be about all that's left. Well, I mean, I guess they could get into Ice Palace, but I mean, and just full clear it. So I guess it's determine if they want to like isolate that big chest in Ice Palace, which can be a really what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of a gross option at times.
Pain in the butt. But we've got WeightyWords taking out Spike Cave at the moment, right now. Does have the magic cave there, so he can just unfold his way through the rest of the spikes there. But hard mode does drain your magic twice as fast, and we got the big key to Skullwoods. Now that's interesting. There is there
That was
something
actually a
interesting in
small key.
Skullwoods?
Oh, never mind. I guess I'm lagging a little behind. I thought you were talking about the one Kohrek.
No, there. Weighty found a big key to Skullwoods inside of the spike cave.
So that's essentially a fetch quest at this point. Pretty much got to just find some not crappy time to work that in, but they've already cleared Skullwoods, so that not crappy time might not actually exist.
It's just gonna have to be one of those things you put off for later and hope you don't forget.
WeightyWords is turning the mushroom in, which will now negate any advantage that Quake might have been for Kohrek, so we're back on pretty even footing right now.
Weighty just having to clear the bottom side of Fertile Rock.
I think at this point the WeightyWords might actually get to the flute first, because Kohrek still got to defeat Trinex. WeightyWords is about out of things that are attractive to get. I mean, he could always go in Ice Palace for, whatever reason, but that flute.
If you have to choose the front of Pod and between that and Ice Palace, there, what are you gonna pick? Come on.
Knowing where the flute is, I would 100% go to Pod right now, but that's just me. You could technically clear Ice Palace outside of that one chest, so it's not the worst idea.
Now, Kohrek is gonna have to be careful there. He's taking on Trinex with only 2 hearts at the moment there. 3 hearts with that refill there, but small comfort.
WeightyWords can actually do some good routing here. He can take the big bomb to the pyramid, check Aghanim's tower and the big bomb, and then swing over to Pod and pick up that flute. So this is a pretty good, nice route to use over here.
Very efficient. I approve. Kohrek takes down the Trinex, or is about to take down Trinex. Just a few more tempered slashes. There we go. There, Trinex is down. The 3 heads have been severed, and go explodey. And we will see where he decides to head next.
You know what? Actually, I guess the flute could be an ice palace. Now that you mention it, Flippers and Fire Rod and Mitts were all pretty free. Huh. Okay, so that makes the choice. That makes the choice a lot more interesting, actually. It could actually be an ice palace. So I don't know what I would do at this point, actually.
Mitts were locked in the hype cave, I thought.
Mitts were in the Mitts were Flipper locked, and Flipper was pretty free. So I guess it actually could be an ice palace. Totally forgot that scenario. I don't know. I don't know which one I would want to go for.
Interesting there. Now it's all blending together there. Where exactly were the Mitts located at?
The Mitts were in the Waterfall Ferry. The Flippers were somewhere really free. I think Eastern Palace.
Oh, yeah,
Fire
it
Rod
could be an ice palace somewhere.
Yeah, Fire Rod was in Lost Woods. Totally forgot all about Ice Palace, but I mean it's Ice Palace, so who wouldn't want to forget all about Ice Palace?
Yeah, it's you don't want to have to travel all that way that early in the game to Ice Palace if you can avoid it.
I'm actually intrigued now to see where it ends up being, because I would have totally been thinking Pod the whole time if I were racing this seed, and I would definitely have gone there first. So I guess it'll be interesting to see which one ends up the right play. I mean, the first 3 items in Pod or Ice Palace without the big key, or neither one of those options is like that attractive.
Ice Palace
like
was only like 3 hearts or so, whatever, how many you managed to get from the first clear onwards. But it looks like Weighty is deciding to go for the Ice Palace route indeed.
I think Kohrek might be right behind him, or unless he might have actually picked up that potion to sequence break Pod, actually. Yeah, I think he's going to Pod with that bottle to sequence past the bow.
Hey, that is still considered a minor glitch, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Where you potion past the Igors?
Mimics, and yes, it is a minor glitch. Basically, if you walk left and drink a potion at the same time, it screws the camera up, and then you can manipulate the mimics off screen, and the game gets all confused and thinks the mimics are dead, pops open the door for you, and away you go. Kohrek can also save a key that way, so not a bad idea.
Well, so we've got dueling dungeons in terms of which one has the flute inside of it.
Question, chat, logically speaking, Ice Palace requires 1 small key, the big key, and either the second small key or the cane. So in this case, they only need the 1 small key. Of course, they also need the big key, logically speaking, and we have no idea where that's at.
Got a hint in the Ice Palace to where the armor was, which we've already found, so oh well.
Okay, time to see if
oh, we've got the bow inside of Palace of Darkness itself. How? Now there's a twist.
Okay, well, whoops, don't need that potion now.
Why abuse the laws of Zelda physics there, when you can just shoot stuff in the face?
Interesting. Kohrek had 4 keys and can hammer you up, so he doesn't need to save that key going around the bow area now. so he can just go ahead and clear this palace completely with 4 keys. He's only got 3 more spots. The flute could possibly be, I think.
True there, but you. Oh, I'm sorry, we talked about Weighty's dungeon or Kohrek's dungeon?
Kohrek. Weighty has, well, the flute can't be over here anywhere, so Weighty is not in the right area to find the flute right now. Because
Yep.
this is hammerlock, so this is not going to have the flute.
Big Kohrek is just going to keep going in full clear. Gets the big key to Ganon's Tower. The GT big key is in Palace of Darkness. That's where all the swag is today. We've got the bug net. We've got the Ganon's Tower big key. We've got the bow, and we may or may not have the flute in here as well. What more could you possibly want?
Okay, well, we should find out pretty soon, because this one chest Kohrek's approaching right now should be the last place the flute could be. Alright, I guess it's in Ice Palace after all. Well, Oh, and the big key to pod is in Ice Palace too. Oh, that sucks.
So, pretty much there. Unfortunate.
I mean, it's not the worst thing ever. Oh, there. Okay, I am totally incorrect. Apparently, there was multiple pod keys available, and I just didn't realize it. So it's in pod. Because you would, logically speaking, need 3 keys to get to that. So there were 3 keys somewhere outside of the mountain that I just, and not behind the mirror, that I just didn't realize, apparently. So I was right and wrong at the same time all along.
It looks like Weighty just found the flute, I am being told.
No, Kohrek just found the flute in pod, which was logically locked by 3 pod small keys that apparently were...
I don't know how I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay, I was looking at the wrong screen. My bad.
I also don't know where I missed those pod keys that were not locked, because I thought that at least one of them was mirror locked, so... And he had 4, so I guess the other 2 were somewhere outside the mountain, and I just totally missed them. Yeah, we're looking for a small castle tower key. We're looking for the Thieves Town big key. I think that's it. Oh, the Misery Mire big key. Yeah, we're still missing like 3 things.
Pretty much there. Let's see. Silver arrows would be nice there, but we'll find those eventually anyway. But
I
now,
honestly can't say who's ahead right now. I mean, Kohrek just got the flute. WeightyWords. I mean, but he's also gonna have to double dip. He's also gonna have to double dip pod. Like, it's just, I don't know. I can't tell.
the placement of items here just made this very interesting.
Execution's probably gonna come into play a lot here near the end. I think it's gonna be a fairly close race overall.
And speaking of close there, WeightyWords managed to take down a Colts there without it being close at all. So he has picked up his 6th boss kill out of the 11 needed, I believe.
Yeah, and we don't actually know whether Pod or Mire is the last pendant, so oh, there's another GT key, so we don't know if it's Mire. This big key to Mire could be in Ganon's Tower. Otherwise, if Mire is the other crystal, then we're also looking for the Thieves Town big key, which could also be in GT. They're definitely running out of places to look right now. So
pretty much, yeah.
They can get to the Mire area. They can get 7 chests out of Mire. No, 6 chests out of Mire right now. But they can't defeat Mire as it currently stands. Bow is in the first chest of Pod. You know, just where you'd want it to be. Especially if you just bought a potion to sequence break the bow side of pod like Kohrek did before you went in there.
Yeah, this is hard mode. It can always come in useful.
There was no hint for that, no. Not that we saw anyway. They haven't been able to access every hint yet, but none that we saw.
Alright, so Kohrek is taking down the Armos Knights there. So that makes 6 bosses of his own taken down there. So now they'll be swapping palaces pretty soon.
Okay, so it was Eastern that was the other pendant. I didn't realize we didn't know that one yet. So Pot is a crystal, Myra is a crystal, which means the only big key we could find outside or inside of GT right now is the Thieves Town big key. Also, the Aghanim's Tower small key could just be inside GT as well. So the Misery Mire big key actually doesn't have a lot of places left it could be. It might actually, it could even be vanilla at this point, really. It also has like 2 spots in pod that it could be.
If we get lucky with how the items fall there, we could end up having an Aghanim doubleheader. But we've got Kohrek activating his flute right now there. Soon we'll have access to Misery Mire. We do have all 3 pendants, so getting into it should be no problem at all.
Yeah, it'll be. I'm still interested to see if Quake was the medallion for it, but even though they basically evened out on that as far as not having it, there's no advantage there anymore. But it's going to be interesting to see if they were actually required to open that Turtle Rock door.
Kohrek picks up a blue potion in exchange for a B, and is heading off to where? Looks like getting off to Misery Mire. That's the only really place that we can pretty much, go at the moment.
He can also clear Ice Palace, which has his pod big key. So,
well, that's true. But again, the temptation to do Ice Palace is not what anyone really wants to do.
I mean, it's been known for people to avoid Ice Palace as much as possible if they don't have the big key and they have other things to check. Oh, there's another pod key. Because, like I said, double dipping for that big chest feels pretty crappy.
Pretty much there, yeah. Oh, there's a big key to Misery Mire inside of Pod.
Oh, right. Well, I don't think Kohrek got that actually, unless I missed something. So that's actually a pretty nice sequencing on WeightyWords parts. So I think that he's coming up a little cleaner on the route here right now.
It looks like it indeed, yes.
And so it turns out that Quake was required, and therefore we were required to get that big key chest in Turtle Rock, the chest that nobody ever wants to get. That feels bad when you have to.
Thankfully, finding all 4 small keys for Turtle Rock was not the ordeal that it normally would be.
So the bad news for Kohrek is he's gonna have to double dip pot. He's already got a double dip pot. He's gonna have to double dip Misery Mire now. I mean, he could get lucky, maybe find the Ice Palace big key in here. Maybe the Ice Palace big chest has the Thieves Town big key or something crazy like that. That would basically be huge for him. But if it's not,
but you never know.
Yeah, like if that doesn't happen, then WeightyWords has got a slight routing advantage right now, I think.
Yeah, he's got his route is a lot cleaner from all the things that he's found, just in the right order there. He has the Palace of Darkness big key, so he can get whatever it's in that chest and get to well, he could get to not Trinex. We already fought Trinex. We could get to Helma's Working. There we go.
So WeightyWords is going to be able to leave here after defeating Helmasaur King and go straight to Mire, fully clear Mire, and then he will be able to bank on the Thieves Town big key if it's not here in Meyer, being in Ganon's Tower. Same for the Aghanim's Tower small key. Really, he won't have many choices left outside of that anyway. So he's gonna be able to be a little more efficient here on the back end.
Pretty much there, and he can so that's the silver arrows are inside the Palace of Darkness big chest. So that's going to be a big time save. Although you can't use the silver arrows outside of Ganon's fight there, so you can't use them to cheap shot the Armos Knights or Vitreous.
Yeah, so Kohrek's probably going to get those because he's not going to be. I don't think he's going to be in go mode when he gets back to pod, unless just everything is here in Misery Mire like before the big chest.
Yeah, he's going to be searching for that big key, but it's not going to be here. We know exactly where it is, and then that's right back in Palace of Darkness. Meanwhile, Weighty is good. Oh, did we just see a big key on Kohrek's side? I missed what it was.
Oh, it's the Ice Palace big key. So there comes that potential advantage I was talking about. If the Ice Palace big chest does have one of the remaining keys they need, Kohrek's is 100% going to get that before WeightyWords. But if it doesn't have anything in that chest, if it doesn't have anything in that chest, that doesn't matter whatsoever. So Kohrek's best hope for that is that that's the other Aghanim Tower small key or the Thieves Town big key. Or the Thieves Town... Oh, never mind, it's the Swamp House big key. Speaking of fetch quests.
Pretty much there. We've got the Thieves Town big key that we've... not that one. We still need to find that one.
So the interesting...
We've got the Skullwoods big key. That's what I was trying to think of there. And now we've got the Swamp Palace big key. Just two big fetch quests that we don't really want to have to deal with.
Yeah, it's very unlikely that they go do either one of those before they go to Ganon's Tower. So if either one of those has what they need, then whoops.
But Kohrek is finally deciding to go to Ice Palace there. It's going to find that big keychain to start his second tour of all those dungeons that he's already been in.
Yeah, Kohrek found the Ice Palace big key in Misery Mire, so we'll see if that gives him any kind of advantage. Kohrek's showing off a little glitch here. If you hit the flute before you go to Ice Palace, you can just immediately kill this Freezor, save a couple frames. It's a pretty nifty little trick there.
Every frame counts there. But meanwhile, WeightyWords is taking down the Helmosaur King himself there, laying the hammer to that mask to hit onto Denta's face. And now, with the Tempered Sword making mincemeat of them, lighting his fuse tail on fire, and the big boy goes boom.
This is game 1 of 3 games for WeightyWords and Kohrek, but they also have to play 4 more opponents for 3 games each. So this is first game of a long road for groups.
Pretty much there. Thankfully, they don't have to back-to-back the matches there. They can play other opponents before they take on their game 2 and 3s. But you never know how things will turn out.
Kohrek picked the rules for this game. He's the top seed in this situation that we're currently in.
Now, one thing I'm puzzled about is if you 2-0 your opponent there, do you have to play the third match?
Yes, you're playing all 3 regardless, and they're counting it by wins achieved, I think, for like overall in the groups. So I think you could technically beat your opponent and still not make it out of groups. I'm not really sure 100% how they're doing that. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong.
We'll have to look into that there.
But I want to say that they're just going by number of wins.
Oh, it's not. It's just 3 per opponent. It's not a match. Okay, good to know. So essentially, it's triple round robin by the short version of things.
Yeah, total wins. Yeah, okay. See, that's what I was pretty sure it was, but I didn't want to be to misinform there.
But meanwhile, there we've got WeightyWords and Kohrek. They have swap dungeons that they have done in there. Although, as we mentioned, there it has a little bit of a easier route upcoming than what we've seen so far. But if there's something in this, while we're talking, I've missed checking the Ice Palace big chest. Have we gotten
Nah,
there yet?
he hasn't gone there yet. He went right with that small key that he had. He's going that way now.
All right, if there's something in this big chest, there, he's found that pod big key there. But if there's something in this big chest there, that's gonna put him right back in this race. Don't know how much exactly of a time advantage Weighty has over him in terms of not having to revisit those couple dungeons, but you never know.
It still should be fairly close, but it's definitely a little more favorable for WeightyWords as far as the routing goes right now. That bomb jump didn't quite work out for Kohrek, but he's got the hook shot, so it doesn't matter. He can just hook through here.
And a pod key is inside of that big chest. They're not exactly what we are hoping for. But,
yeah, that's not
yeah.
helpful whatsoever. I think they've gotten three GT big key or small keys already.
I've seen at least
I
two,
mean,
I believe.
the Thieves Town big key is very likely to be in Ganon's Tower at this point. There's still 2 spots in Misery Mire it could be, which would be the most ideal, but I would be banking on it being in Ganon's Tower at this point.
And we still need that second Castle Tower key. We still need that Thieves Town big key. And we still need. I think we've gotten all the major items that we could possibly want at this point.
Yeah, it's just those 2 keys that we're waiting on right now. And both of those could very easily be in Ganon's Tower at this point.
Running out of places that they could otherwise be there. I mean, we've checked, but most of the places that I've already have been thinking of there, unless there's some random overworld place that I've completely forgotten about for no good reason.
They're essentially down to the last 2 items in Misery Mire behind the big key and Ganon's Tower. Also, actually, I lied. They also have those 2 fetch quest big keys, which again, if either one of those keys is in either one of those locations, they're definitely going there after Ganon's Tower. I mean, nobody's going to the swamp big chest before Ganon's Tower if that's all they have left.
Pretty much there. It's possible we could have a longer of a backtracking chain there if something ends up being behind it, one of the other fetch quest items, such as magic powder or a shovel. But it seems a bit unlikely at this point.
Nicely done. Yeah, nicely done on the kill there. WeightyWords is going to be showing us the Misery Mire big chest and Vitreous soon, so we can get some information there on whether or not one of the 2 remaining keys is in one of those locations. Kohrek, meanwhile, is going to take that pod key back to pod, because what else can he really do at this point? And then he's going to find his Misery Mire big key, and then he'll be hot on WeightyWords' heels.
Pretty much there. We just need yeah, WeightyWords has about what would you say, like a half a dungeon a lead on Kohrek at the moment? Maybe a little bit more?
For Misery Mire, you don't need any small keys, but you do need the big key. Small keys can logically all be in Ganon's Tower, because you don't need them for anything but the left side. And I think you're about right as far as the lead goes right now, which there can easily be some execution turns on this. So it's not over yet by any means.
By no stretch of the imagination, yes. And thank you, Wily1, for subscribing here to Speed Gaming.
So Kohrek's only got like 3 things here to check in pod before he's on his way to Misery Mire 2, and he's already cleared a good portion of Misery Mire, so it's not as much of a lead as it might appear right now.
It'll still be annoying, but yeah, it's not the end of the world, thankfully.
He's going straight back to the boss, and then he'll go back in to get the pod big chest because I think it's a little less annoying routing wise that way. So we're down to Vitreous as far as like if anything good is here. I think we're just going to be going to Ganon's Tower to try to find our last 2 keys, really. The interesting thing will be if Ganon's Tower has the TT big key, Thieves Town big key, and then Thieves Town has the small Aghanim's Tower key, because that will make routing pretty obnoxious. Then also, if it's either Skull or Swamp, then that's also obnoxious, and that's gonna drag this out a little bit.
Well, it can't be worse than that one custom seed there I assisted in making, which this main premise was, how long of a Ganon Tower fetch quest can we make?
Yeah, we have seen Spike Cave that has the Skullwoods big key, which is just basically a fetch quest at this point. WeightyWords has got that, but has not gone to check it, and has really no reason to go check it before he goes into Ganon's Tower, so I don't expect that we'll see it. Ooh, WeightyWords showing us spooky action, which is a way to skip the bomb wall in Misery Mire. I am not technical up on the technical ways to explain that, so I'm not even going to try. Basically, it saves you some amount of like 8 seconds or something in Misery Mire's basement, not having to go in there and bomb those walls, or bomb that wall and change that switch. It's a pretty fancy and relatively new trick. I really don't know the technical explanation for that. I should probably learn it because it's coming up. It's been practiced by a lot of people, and it's coming up more and more. So
Yeah, I've seen it I've seen a video explanation of it there, but I can't say that I remember it off the top of my head.
where's Tojo when you need him? He could explain that pretty fast. Alright, so WeightyWords has his last crystal, and it's pretty clear to just go to Ganon's Tower now.
Kohrek has just picked up his Misery Mire big key. We'll be finishing up pod fairly shortly there, and we'll be right on his heels. Although he has got 2 short go modes through the dungeons to finish off the bosses, and then can be right into Ganon's Tower behind him.
Yeah, so WeightyWords coming up with a slight time advantage right now. Having Misery Mire already done, Kohrek's got to do this check right here. He's going to get his silvers at least.
I like the Ganon fight easier there, although both of them have that there, so that's no net time gamer loss.
Yeah, so yeah, WeightyWords, he's going to have a bit of a lead for clearing Ganon's Tower. There are 27 items in Ganon's Tower that could be the Thieves Town Big Key or the Castle Tower Small Key. When you factor in all the chests, including Tower Room, Big Chest, all the upstairs chests, so that is a lot of chances for them to find that key. So it's going to be pretty funny if it just ends up being in Swamp Palace.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much there. I mean, the odds say that it's going to be in Ganon's Tower there, but you know how how rando can be.
Yeah, always play the odds, and then sometimes you'll just get screwed because randomizer.
Play the odds, curse randomizer. No, you know what I mean.
This is hard, key sanity, all dungeons, standard, Uncle Assured. Farime's in chat to help us out. Fire Rod's area of defect is displaced to hit faraway objects. That's spooky action is basically because the fire rod's weird, I guess, is the really short explanation.
All right, so we are looking for that Thieves Town big key at the moment there. I think that's our main goal at the moment at the Castle Tower big key. So it's like playing the Ganon's Tower big key game, except with two things you have to find instead of one.
Yeah, except for they found that one, so now we are down to the Thieves Town big key. If he finds it anytime soon, he can just mirror and go straight upstairs because he has again his tower big key. The only reason he's doing this is so that he can find that Thieves Town big key.
Got the Cane of Burna there. Not that that helps us with anything at the moment. If you got the shovel, another fetch quest item, that's lovely. Anyhow, so onward we go there, throwing skulls to take out some skull heads. We've got a Ice Palace key, not that we needed it anyway.
Yeah, that's that one. It's not logically required since they had the cane, so it's basically just junk fill in GT at this point. Interesting to see where this Thieves Town big key is going to be. If it's not in Ganon's Tower, they're gonna have a couple of like just gross, like silly options that they're not gonna like that nobody's gonna want. So they're really just hoping to find it in here.
Now here's a question there. If you're Kohrek there and do you feel behind enough to go check out those one-offs?
No, absolutely not. Ever. No, nope. You go to GT every time. You're talking about 27 items versus like one in some one-off spot. Like no. Every time it's GT.
Yeah, fair enough there. We do find the magic powder as well. We're finding all the fetch quest items in here.
Okay, so they have
But still
lots.
no big key.
If it's not here, they have a lot of really just dumb options, and it's gonna be like, which one do you do first? Powder, shovel, Skullwoods, Swamp Palace. The disadvantage for Kohrek is if it is Skullwoods, he hasn't done Spike Cave yet. He can definitely pop out and do that real quick after he does Ganon's Tower. Oh, actually, that's a lie because he'll be up on the pyramid after Ganon's Tower. So really, there's no good. Yeah, there's no good news there for Kohrek if it's in Skullwood's big chest. So for his sake, we'll just hope it's not.
We've got a small key to Thieves Town, so that's something.
There is a fourth bottle in hard, but there's only 3 bottles that you can find, I believe, or maybe it's 2. So it places 4 bottles, but the last one turns into rupees or something.
We've got WeightyWords taking ice armors now there as Kohrek is heading his way over to Ganon's Tower. Oh, but WeightyWords runs out of arrows and has to take out the ice armors the old-fashioned way. And over these chests here, we have just more small keys that we don't really need at the moment.
I think they're working on graphics to showcase the modes, but currently you just have to rely on chat, commentators, and the schedule. Really, it's but this is standard Uncle Assured, Hard, Key Sanity, all dungeons for the record.
Alright, so we did not find the Thieves Town big key in the left side of the dungeon, and we checked out a little bit of the right. So we only have a few more places it could be if it were indeed in Ganon's Tower, and not in one of those dumb one-off places. No one likes having to do Ganon's Tower room there, but at this point there, you're pretty much forced into doing it. Because you really don't have to go and fish out those big chests from the dungeons that you've already completed. That's a trek and a half.
Yeah, so this is still pretty close right now. Kohrek's in GT. He's not checked as much as Weighty right now, but the only thing that Weighty has advantage over him really, outside of a slight lead in GT, is the Skullwood's big key from Spike Cave. Other than that, they have access to all the same.
Oh,
treasure
and
chests.
Kohrek finds it. He dips to right side first. WeightyWords is heading right there, right now there, so Kohrek can just go straight up Ganon's Tower, skip the rest of. Well, he doesn't have that Castle Tower big key, or did he find the Castle Tower small key that WeightyWords found?
Yeah, he has to because he's going upstairs. I think it was like the first chest anyway. So, yeah, he
It's
should be
really
in go
early
mode.
on, yes.
So they
Oh.
are right on each other's heels right now. So this is going to be close as can be.
That one routing distance, the classic routing choice there, left side versus right side, turns the tables once again. And now Weighty is heading up the stairs into Ganon's Tower proper, and is going to be running the gauntlet.
Yeah, this is definitely down to some execution at this point. They've got the Gauntlet, they've got Agnos Tower, and they have got Thieves Town, the back of Thieves Town. So there's very little left at this point. It's just clear bosses.
Now, one thing though is that because Kohrek didn't, I don't believe he took the time to get the second. What was it? Go back to the big chest in Palace of Darkness. He does not have those silver arrows. That will add a
Yeah, he
little bit
did.
of time
He
to his Ganon
actually,
fight.
he actually did get them. It's just not on the tracker.
Oh, did he? Okay, I'm misinterpreting it then. How did I miss that? Well, whatever. Anyhow. Anyhow, so we've got Kohrek up through most of the gauntlet now, into all past the Horse Knights here. Through the BMOS dodge. They're both electing to go into the safety room. And on hard mode, who's going to blame you?
Yeah, only 9 hearts. It's not a terrible idea at all. Gauntlet's going pretty well for Kohrek right now. He's just blazing right through it. Weighty, again, he's a couple rooms behind him. It's like super close. These are both good runners. Execution is great for both of them. So it's really down to some RNG and how they react, how fast they can react to these enemies.
But Land Molus 2 is down for Kohrek there. We are going onwards and upwards through the tower. Okay, no matter how many times I see that room, I always think that's really cool maneuver to do.
Yeah, the second one is a little cooler, harder to pull off. The timing's a little stickier. Kohrek gets it with, ooh, he almost had it.
It's pretty close there, but not quite there. And yeah, WeightyWords is finishing up Land Molus 2 and is right on his tail.
This is a super close race. I don't know what's gonna happen at this point. They are just blazing through this tower. Kohrek's got that slight lead, but like this is too close to call right now.
Indeed, one Ganon fall could turn the tables of the entire race. a bad Aga reflector too could turn the tide there, because depending on how they decide to route in Thieves Town there, we could have an Aghanim double header here. Aga's 2 to Aga 1.
Yeah, the RNG will be the same for them, but reacting to Aga 2 can be a little bit of a crapshoot. So it's definitely possible for your opponent to react better than you do to the patterns.
Oh
So
no,
that could,
Kohrek takes a Trolldorm fall.
and that's another thing that can possibly close the gap some. So, oh man, this is it's gonna turn into a real nail biter right now.
Second time is the charm there. A hook shot's old Trolldorm in the head just for a few extra giggles there. Besides, he has everything that he needs. Gonna ignore the Moldorm's last possessions. Or whatever they're called. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Oh, but WeightyWords is right behind them there. They're going to be into Aga 2 at roughly the same time here. This is coming very close indeed.
Yeah, we have a real race on our hands here at the end.
Ooh, almost got a triple shot there, but only ends up being a single there. Round 2, we've got another single. That's 3 hits out of 6. Only being able to get singles so far. But Weighty manages to get a single double. Oh, but Kohrek takes the Aga 2 down first there. So having that head start really does come in handy there. So Ganon is open there, but without the Thieves Town and Aga 1 being taken care of, Ganon is invulnerable. So where would you go next? Would you go to Castle Tower or would you go to Thieves Town?
I would go to Thieves Town and then do Castle Tower. I would go to Thieves Town, then come up to the Ganon Hole and mirror to Castle Tower, and then just get plopped right back on the pyramid.
Well, this works as well. Yeah, those were indeed very difficult Aga 2 patterns to match there. But with the second key now and all the temperature on hand, we should make a quick work of the rest of Castle Tower and...
Yeah, I actually didn't consider that if you save and quit from Thieves Town, you would be back on the pyramid automatically. So Castle Tower is actually the smarter move. So ignore me, I'm dumb.
I didn't even consider that, so ignore me.
As soon as Kohrek went inside, I was like, oh yeah.
That is a smart play there. We're right on each other's heels right now. Heading up through the darkness. Oh, almost took a small fall there. Not the biggest loss in the world if he were to fall there, but even so there. We are heading up, sneak attacking the guards here. Going up to the next floor, and soon we'll be at the top.
This is hard mode, all dungeons, key sanity, standard, Uncle Assured. And this is quite the race at the end. Race up the tower, race through Thieves Town, and then save and quit. They'll be back at the Ganon fight and be able to just drop right in. This is anyone's game right now.
Pretty much, yeah. We're coming out on the last few rounds of the tower before we can get to Aghanim himself.
This was in fact Kohrek's pick. He's the top seed in this situation.
And he arrives at Aghanim, won the first there.
Alright, so how many blue balls do we get today? Jeez, they're like so close right now.
He's only a cutscene behind, essentially.
I think it's going to come down to the Ganon fight at this point. Who has a slightly better, like if somebody gets the 1/1 cycle with the tempered sword, and somebody else, and the other one doesn't.
Yes.
Like that. Yeah, it's pretty close. They got to do this. They got to do the back of Thieves Town. Then they save and quit, drop down to Ganon. And I don't know. I don't know who's gonna take this right now.
They are literally on the same boss right now there. Kohrek does take his lead through Aga 1 there. Manages to get out of it around the 204.5 mark or so. WeightyWords is right behind there. Going to be roughly about 204.45. I'd say about like a 15-second difference, if that at most. Now with the fire shield there and the way that blind works, he just takes 9 hits total there, and it's more or less you can't really save all that much time on there. You could just have to keep up with him and keep whacking him on his head with a sword and try not to die, which can be tricky. But with all the hearts that we have right now, even with this being hard mode, it's gonna come down to the wire.
Yeah, blind should be pretty free for these runners. I think that Ganon is where it's going to come into play, where anything could happen there that could like cause a switch in the lead. Ganon fights turn on a dime sometimes.
Yeah, if it comes down to a Ganon fight, as has been mentioned there, getting those double triples or triple shots with the silver arrows is gonna save a lot of time and might turn the tide in someone's favor.
And ironically, WeightyWords saved a few frames, maybe a couple seconds there because he picked up the Thieves Town small key by routing through more of Ganon's tower. So he picked up more items, but still managed to just close his gap ever so slightly right there, because he didn't have to go for that key under that pot.
Every little bit counts. But we got the light into the hole there. We just need to go and retrieve the fake maiden, and then it will be blind time. It's blind time now, baby. Yeah, I apologize for that for that joke.
Yeah, Weighty's just like 2 rooms behind right now. This is getting ridiculously close for an all dungeons seed. They're just all roads are converging here at the end.
Pretty much, and it is possible to tie there if you are within 2 seconds of your opponent, if I'm not mistaken. I still find it amusing how Link has the boots of speed. There does all these dashes there, and the maiden still keeps up there. This is a very athletic maiden that we have on our hands. But we've got Kohrek entering the blind fight first. What? Are we gonna have a pun? Okay, that was a good one.
Okay, there. WeightyWords has closed the gap even more. This is like seconds of difference right now.
Kohrek takes down blind around at 208 flat there. And WeightyWords will be taking him down around like 208.10 or 208.8 or so. But this is the moment we've all been waiting for there. We've got Kohrek entering into the Ganon fight. It's time to take on the big pig.
Yeah, this is where that advantage doing Aghanim first comes into play. Just save and quit, and except for WeightyWords is not doing that. Interesting.
Does he not know that you could do that? Oh, this might decide it. This might decide it indeed.
Interesting. I guess he totally forgot about the save and quit option, even though he did Ganon's tower first.
we got Kohrek into phase 2 already there. It looks like he'll be getting into the one... using the cape to dodge those fire bats there. Now we're into phase 3 there. WeightyWords is into Ganon's fight there. Is already at phase 2 already there. Not that that's hard all to do there. Not sure if Kohrek got the 1-1 pattern though.
I don't think he did.
Oh man, these are a lot of teleports here. Ganon does not want to sit still.
Holy crap, Ganon. Jeez. Okay, Ganon, stop
But
it.
you gotta hit me. Oh no. But we're okay. That's one arrow down into the pig there. Does not get the torch glitch. Has to dodge the fire bat. Has to be careful with his. He almost falls off the pyramid. Gets a. Ooh, almost gets the triple to finish him off. But that's the last one there. Kohrek will take down Ganon first there. WeightyWords is right behind. Mere seconds apart. Congratulations to both our runners there. That was a race and a half.
Okay, but just to inform chat, WeightyWords actually got done first. So technically, he took first.
That is very interesting. We're gonna have to see how this will turn out.
Apparently there was some kind of IRC issue on Kohrek's side, I think maybe. I don't know, but as far as like official times, WeightyWords actually finished 3 seconds ahead of Kohrek. Let's see if we can't track them down for an interview.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what the official ruling on this will turn out to be.
I'm trying to track them down and see if they want an interview.
Well, either way, this is going to be a photo finish, depending on how it goes down.
Okay, looks like we've got them in with us now. So, Kohrek, WeightyWords, GG.
GG.
Yeah, so about that.
Yeah, that was an interesting finish. You guys were crazy close. I don't know what to make of the little flip flop at the end. It's a crazy situation. You guys did incredible. You took it down to the wire, and you were like you were just neck and neck at the end there. That was great. Do you have any thoughts about the seed?
Well, first and foremost, I watched the restream back, and Kohrek definitely won by more than 3 seconds. So I don't feel good about like taking the win for that one. But I assume we'd have to like talk to some admin to figure out what we'd do in this situation.
Yeah, that might be the best bet to go with if you feel like that was a little bit weird with the technical problems. It's a little unfortunate. So hopefully y'all can get that sorted out and figure out how you want to approach that. How'd you feel about this all dungeons key sanity? How'd you feel in the hunt for the Thieves Town Big Key?
Yeah, it was I feel like it wasn't too weird of us. It was I guess it was a pretty standard seed, except there's some things that tripped me up, like going into pod really late to get the bow in the first chest, or I actually went left side GT first, which was unfortunate because both the Aga Tower key and the Thieves Town Big Key were on the right side.
Yeah, and I think you did do Agnum's Tower after Ganon's Tower, but I think maybe you forgot about the whole save and quit thing. You did the mirror and the run over.
Yeah, I realized that right as I saw Kohrek do it on the restream. I don't do too much all dungeon, and I just completely forgot because I was a little scared at that point because I had died in Turtle Rock earlier, and I was like, oh my god, is that gonna cost me the race? Because the closer I got to Ganon, so I wasn't really thinking too hard about what I was doing, and I just autopiloted mirror to flute.
Yeah, you guys actually flip-flopped a lot because Kohrek found the mitts before he ever went up the mountain, so he dipped Turtle Rock through the big key chest because he didn't have the big key, so it was really hard to call how Turtle Rock worked out for either one of you. I think basically it equaled out in the end.
Gotcha.
We were wondering if the mushroom was going to give him any kind of advantage, and then by the end of it, you guys had just equalized that anyway, so it didn't come into play really. The interesting thing was the flute. Where was the flute? And I was thinking it had to be the pod first 3 chests, but apparently you guys picked up a couple pod keys outside of the mountain that I totally missed. So I ended up being right but wrong at the same time, based on where it was.
Yeah, I think it was just in the back turtle room.
Yeah, so there
Yeah.
we would have had 3 keys available at some point.
Yeah.
But I don't know where those keys were because I know one was mirror locked, so I was a little confused on that one myself. But because in the end we were trying to figure out it could have been an ice too. It was so it was like which option do you go for? And it just turned it out to be pod.
So from my end, first I wanted to blame Ak. He has been saying lately, "Oh, I just assume I'm going to have to double dip pod." So when it came down to pod without the bow or without the big key or ice without the big key, I'm like, you know what? Let's go to pod. I'm sure I'm gonna find the bow in ice, but maybe I'll find the big key to ice there. But no, I could have single dipped pod if I had done ice, and I could have single dipped Meyer if I had done ice first, but no. So blame Ak on that one. The other thing that kind of tilted me a bit was, going through the effort to set up the check of the lava room chest, and then finding the mushroom, and I'm like, what do I do now?
Yeah, we were really wondering about that mushroom for a while and that quake medallion, but I do like your assessment. Blame Ak seems pretty safe.
Sounds like a plan to me.
What any other thoughts about this seed? Didn't look like. How about those immediately 3 swords in your hard mode seed?
Yeah, I definitely laughed when I saw that, and we got the blue mail early too, and there's only 1 mail in the pool, so it didn't. I mean, other than the low amount of hearts, it didn't really like a hard mode seed to me.
It was a slightly inconvenient seed.
With how early all the swords were, I was kind of, and the cape for that matter, I was kind of expecting it to be Aga for Dark World access, but then those bits kind of threw that away. But man, yeah, that was weird that we got all the swords right away.
Yeah, I actually was discussing that when we found the Master Sword immediately. I was like, Kohrek knows about this, the cape, the Master Sword, and then we got the cape, then we got the Tempered Sword, and I was like, well, maybe we'll see some Castle Tower keys, and then nope, it ended up not happening.
We'll see some Castle Tower keys in Ganon's Tower.
I've been simming this mode quite a bit in the Z3R sim, and I've had Aga Tower key go mode like way more times than I can count. It might be my most common go mode in this mode in the simulator. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, since it can basically be anywhere, yeah, it tends to be later more often than not, I think.
So here's a question for you, Kohrek. There, I believe you were the one who chose the settings for the seed. There, what made you decide on these settings?
I enjoy efficient hundo seeds, so that's what these settings are. The Uncle Assured and Standard, you're probably going to have to do Escape anyway in Standard, but just doing the Uncle Assured and having the Escape sequence kind of makes the post-escape choices a little bit interesting. Like maybe you'll get a bunch of money and it makes sense to go straight to CAC. Maybe you'll get some items that send you to a dungeon. Maybe South Shore first makes sense. So it's kind of opens up a little bit. And Uncle Assured is because, well, I like swords, so I want one.
I don't want swords.
Yeah, swordless can be quite the mode, as I think the viewers of Speed Gaming 3 saw earlier.
I heard about that one. Yes.
Yeah. So how do you feel about your upcoming matches, your future opponents? You got 5 more people on the books. You got to face each other a couple more times. How are you feeling about this? This is just your first game in so far, and it was pretty exciting. What do you feel about your upcoming races?
I mean, for me, I'm just gonna have fun with it. And of course, try my best, but like I don't really play kind of crazy modes that much. I'm familiar with them. I just don't play them that much because it takes a lot more time usually. So I'm excited to be able to play it and see how it goes. So
yeah, I'm looking forward. This is a strong group. When Weighty is the person in the fourth sextile that gets in here, we have Dustin, who's in the winners finals of the German tourney right now, and Lunchtime has just been an extremely solid player for like the past year. It's at the top, it's pretty loaded, and that's not to say anything. We have some great players, Aralis and Asmati Games, who have like really played a lot recently and gotten a lot better. So it's going to be a fun group. Probably a lot of close matches. Maybe not always this close, but I'm hoping for a lot of close matches.
If for sure. If as exciting as this one, there, I'll be extremely happy.
Yeah. So, any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
Yeah, as always, thanks to you guys for commentating. Thanks to the tracker, and thanks to Speed Gaming for the restream. And yeah.
Yep, I'll echo all that, and thanks.
And thanks to you all for providing us with such an entertaining match. So follow the runners if you would like to see more of them. They have provide excellent content for us all the way around there. So any final words before we wrap things up?
Just GG to our runners. Great race, very close, very exciting ending. Follow the runners. GG. Thanks to my co-com Phantom Fox. Thanks to our tracker Tirasu. Follow those guys as well. Thanks to Speed Gaming for throwing all this together and giving us this exciting restream. Thanks to chat for keeping us company while we watch this race. And I think that's it. Everybody have a good night.
Indeed. Thank you to you all there. I was like, I've been joined here by Recidador there, and I am Phantom Fox. Catch us next time if you can.